Welcome back to Self-Love Sunday. My dear sister, thank you for being here. Whether it's your first time or coming back already after a few times, great stuff. Thank you for being here. I wanted to let you know that now that we've done quite a bit of content and videos on healing journey, specifically soothing, validating, getting a bit of that extra knowledge or confirmation of what those stages of healing look like. Now we are shifting towards the next step, which is claiming your sovereignty. Yeah. This topic might feel a little tender if you are someone that feels the time pressure, urgency, fear about the future. This whole dynamic most likely comes from a fact that as a child, you were the person that had to constantly monitor, manage the moods, know what is going on. So rest, slowing down, wasn't really safe, was it? Yeah? So we are going to be talking about how to start building that safety. Now, before we begin, quick disclaimer that this place is not a replacement for therapy or medical assistance. This is for education purposes. Yeah, it's from lived experience. Comes from lived experience of mine. Okay, let's dive into the episode. We currently live in a world that feels very unstable. Economic uncertainty, global tension, fast pace. And how does it connect to today's subject? Healing journey. The next step of healing journey. Well, when healing starts to ask you to slow down, your system might panic because now, is this really the time? What if I fall behind? What if I don't have enough time? I need to do right? I need to do this. For many women who grew up without safety, slowing down meant danger. Something that I wasn't being prepared for. How do I feel safe? Right? Your life might still be uncertain. The world feels unstable. And yet your nervous system is now asking you to stop running. So let's talk about the importance of rest, even when we feel that everything around us is crazy, okay? First of all, let's acknowledge that sense of uncertainty, that feeling of unsafety, might be an old story all the way from your childhood, that it doesn't actually reflect on what is happening outside. That inner safety is where you find freedom and relief from all of the outside, where you find the resilience and strength to hold the contradictory in your hands without collapsing. Yeah. Now, slowing down, let's just make that clear, is not laziness. It is not giving up. It is not you falling behind, even though it may feel that way. It is a threshold. Very, very common threshold in the healing journey. This is a place between survival and sovereignty. Your mind understands, but your body may still believe if I slow down, something bad will happen. I won't be able to catch up. I'm already too late, right? So I bet when you're trying to rest, what it looks like is you potentially sitting down, lying down, but your mind is still thinking about the next thing, where how much time I have left. Am I doing it right? Am I resting? I'm thinking too much. I'm beating myself up for thinking, right? It certainly wasn't my example. It was my example. So why slowing down would feel unsafe? Again, we're going back to the childhood. For many of us, movement, doing things, predicting things, managing things meant safety. Overfunctioning was a way of controlling things around us. Staying alert meant that we survived. Yeah. So slowing down wasn't actually neutral. It was when things went wrong, no one was there to pick up but me. You might have been the main person to have to care for a person that was unstable. You had to manage their moods. Perhaps it was the entire family, right? This is where that state of alert comes from, most likely. It's not that the world will, like suddenly become perfect when you start resting properly, right? It's just so you can hold the contradiction of the world without collapsing. Anyway, that's a big responsibility to carry. Going back to what we're talking about the childhood, about how you perhaps were the person to manage everyone else's moods or needs. Yeah. So when your body is asking you to slow down, you don't hear rest, you hear exposure to unsafety. That's why rest cannot bring you that peace. It brings you anxiety. It feels like you're falling. Yeah. Like when you really try to rest without distracting yourself. I'm talking when you sit in the quietness with yourself. You don't have a TV series on. You don't have doom scrolling in front of you, right? You don't have anything to distract you. How do you handle that? How do you handle being in the quiet with yourself, with your own thoughts? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. But let's reframe and clarify what sovereignty truly is, what rest truly is. This whole sovereignty thing is not about doing more. You're not gonna change anything by repeating the same story, by repeating the same actions, by predicting everything. So maybe I'll feel safe if I predict everything right. This is about staying present and learning to stay present within yourself without abandoning you. Yeah. Slowing down doesn't mean the world suddenly becomes safe, as I said. It means you become the place your body can rest at. You become your safe space. It's not about you doing more, about you fixing more. It's about learning to be present. How do we do that? Well, one of the things is cutting out the random information from the outside. So be wary what you're feeding yourself. Because if you are seeing random things on your feed, war zone, fear mongering, terrible things that people do to other people, serial killers, and then you've got puppies and families reuniting and all that beautiful stuff. Can you see how that contradiction is too much for a person that is healing and just recently experienced pain? Or still healing from that pain? Maybe it wasn't recent, but you're still feeling it, right? You cutting out the content that is contradictory, the content that is fear-mongering, is not you not caring about the world. Especially in the healing journey, you should not be watching these things. Yeah? And you should not be seeking out people in distress, seeking out people who, for example, are sick. There's fundraisers, there's different actions for maybe for the people that are poor. I know it is important, absolutely, but you don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. This is just an illusion that if I don't care, no one will care. You can care and take a pause from caring all the time, because caring, let's make that clear, caring is not you feeling the pain of other people, taking on the pain of other people, like suffering with them. How is that beneficial for anyone if you suffer with them? So take a pause from feeding yourself, first of all, random things from the internet. Become intentional of what you watch. Perhaps it will be just joyful, beautiful videos reminding you of the positive side of the world. And then stop feeding yourself pain of other people just to feel perhaps justified, to then you be noticed, to you be worthy if I take on other people's pain. Remember, this is also something that might stem from your childhood, from that monitoring other people's moods, needs, and wants. Yeah? You're not responsible for taking on other people's pain. Once you become stable, once you heal more, once you truly claim your sovereignty, then you can help. Or you can just make sure that you don't do it too often, that you don't feed yourself, especially when you're healing, okay? Another thing, staying in meditation for short periods of time. I know that meditation is the most difficult for people who need it most. So try and stay within yourself for 5 minutes daily, 10 minutes daily. Allow the thoughts. Like, the only reason why the thoughts keep coming back is because we don't allow them unapologetically. Yeah? So allow them to pass through you. Okay, I'm scared. Okay, I'm overthinking. Okay, I'm doing this. Don't block them. Allow them, and meditation will, in the quiet, thoughts slowing down will come. But make sure you have that bit of time for yourself during the day. 5, 10, 15 minutes. Hold that space for yourself. Try to be present. Acknowledge the thoughts. Allow them to be, and then try and thank them for passing by. Yeah? Another thing is words that you're using, language that you're using, mantras. Yeah? Especially if your body felt tight during this video, if you felt tight, or if this is resonating with you, that's for you. Mantras can look like starting with putting hand on your chest, the other one on your belly or your legs, and saying to yourself, it's safe to slow down. If I slow down, I won't disappear. Nothing bad happens if I rest for a moment. I do not need to outrun my life anymore. Yeah. How do these land? How do they feel in your body? You can say them quietly, you can say them out loud. You can take deep breath before you start. You can pick one or two. But how do they feel? Do they hit a heartstring? Do you feel emotional? Do you feel more grounded? Yeah. Observe how you feel. So we've got cutting out the random content, staying away from other people's pain, stop being the therapist to the people around you. You're allowed to take time and space for yourself without overwhelming yourself. Yeah. So that goes under that, not taking other people's pain on you. Set up boundaries, practice them. Meditation, mantras. Yeah. Connect with nature as well. First, maybe walks might be still like an extension of what is happening on the inside of you, like inside the house. So maybe you'll be overthinking on the walks. But slowly and steadily it will change. So connection with nature. Breathing in deeply. Breath work. Yeah. So just to summarize, if you are worried that if you slow down, you will miss your chance, here's the truth for you. You don't miss your life by resting. You miss it by never arriving to your presence. Slowing down is not a failure of ambition. It is your recalibration of power. If this is resonating, you're exactly where you need to be on your healing journey. You're doing the part that requires trust instead of effort. And that trust, that safety is born within you first. And it will resonate outside in. It will help you hold contradictory truths without collapsing. Yeah. This is where your sovereignty starts. Not when everything feels safe, but when you choose to stay with yourself anyway. Over and over and over again. And this is it for this week. Thank you for being here. Take good care of your heart, and we'll see you next time.